U.S. Army officially names its next-gen tiltrotor the Cheyenne II. The U.S. Army gave its most ambitious rotorcraft program a name to match its ambitions on April 15th, officially designating Bell Textron's MV-75 tiltrotor aircraft the Cheyenne II during the Army Aviation Association of America's annual Warfighting Summit in Nashville, Tennessee. The naming honors two federally recognized nations, the Northern Cheyenne Tribe of Montana and the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma, continuing the Army's long-standing tradition of naming its aircraft after Native American tribes. The designation also carries a deliberate historical callback. The original AH-56 Cheyenne was among the most technically advanced helicopters of its era, a Cold War-era Lockheed design that ultimately never entered service due to technical and programmatic failures. The II suffix signals that this aircraft represents an entirely new chapter rather than a revival. The official designation MV-75 carries its own symbolism. MV stands for Multi-Mission Vertical Takeoff, while 75 pays homage to the Army's founding year of 1775. Together, the formal designation and the common name frame the aircraft both as a product of the Army's institutional heritage and as a forward-looking leap in capability. Senior Army leadership was unambiguous about what the platform is expected to deliver. In naming the MV-75 Cheyenne II, we honor the enduring contributions of the Cheyenne people to our nation, both their distinguished service in uniform and their legacy as steadfast protectors of their way of life, said Colonel Jeffrey Paquette, project manager for the Future Long-Range Assault Aircraft Program. Undersecretary of the Army Mike O'Badel called the MV-75 a foundational system of this modern combined arms force, adding that its modular open design and digital backbone allow the service to keep pace with emerging technology through field-level innovation. Brent Ingram, the Army acquisition executive, was equally direct. The Cheyenne tribes represent a resilient warrior culture and embody the key attributes of the MV-75, he said at the Nashville summit. What those attributes mean in practical hardware terms is significant. The MV-75 Cheyenne II is the Army's first conventional tiltrotor aircraft. It is designed to reach speeds exceeding 300 miles per hour, carry 14 soldiers, and lift an external load of up to 10,000 pounds. Those figures represent roughly twice the speed and considerably greater range than the Black Hawks the Cheyenne II is intended to partially replace. While the aircraft was designed with the Indo-Pacific theater in mind, the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade is among the units expected to operate the platform. A tiltrotor aircraft uses rotors mounted on rotating nacelles at the tips of its wings. At takeoff and landing, the rotors point upward like a helicopter. Once airborne, they tilt forward to function like conventional propellers, allowing the aircraft to fly far faster and farther than any rotary wing design. The Cheyenne II's lineage traces directly to Bell's V-280 Valor demonstrator, which made its first flight on December 18, 2017 in Amarillo, Texas, and was selected by the Army as the winner of the Future Long-Range Assault Aircraft competition in 2022, besting Sikorsky-Boeing's competing SB-1 Defiant design. The platform also incorporates a modular open systems approach, known as MOSA, a design philosophy that ensures the aircraft's electronics and software architecture can be upgraded without being locked into a single vendor. As O'Badel noted, that digital backbone is central to how the Army intends to keep the platform competitive across decades of service rather than rendering it obsolete within years of fielding. Despite this ceremonial milestone, the Army is guarding its timeline closely. Major General Claire Gill, Program Acquisition Executive for Maneuver Air, declined to commit to specific dates for first flight or production, telling reporters, "It's going to happen when it's going to happen. So we are moving as fast as we can." Gill cited a complex supply chain involving approximately 300 Tier 1 suppliers and nearly 2,000 Tier 3 and Tier 4 suppliers, with competition for specialized raw materials presenting a real constraint. He noted that the absence of predictable funding could ultimately kill momentum on the program's accelerated timeline. Assembly of the first 6 MV-75 test aircraft is already underway at Bell's Wichita Assembly Center. As recently as January, Then Army Chief of Staff General Randy George stated that the aircraft could be flying with formations by the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027, with production potentially beginning as early as 2028. Whether those timelines hold depends heavily on resolving the supply chain and funding variables Gill described. Ryan Ehinger, Bell's Senior Vice President and Program Director for FLRAA, framed the naming as a signal of where the program stands industrially as much as symbolically. Bell is proud that the MV-75 carries the name of the Cheyenne tribes as we revolutionize Army aviation, Ehinger said. This is a significant milestone that comes right as we are accelerating assembly and production to deliver the MV-75 capability to warfighters faster. The Cheyenne II's intended role sits at the intersection of two of the Army's most pressing modernization priorities, extending the reach of air assault forces and reducing the vulnerability of rotary wing platforms in contested airspace. Current Black Hawks are too slow to survive in environments where adversaries field sophisticated air defenses and long-range precision fires. The MV-75's speed and range are specifically intended to allow formations to operate beyond the densest threat rings, a capability the Army acknowledges is simply unavailable with its current rotorcraft fleet. The original AH-56 Cheyenne was introduced during the Vietnam War era and achieved a cruise speed of 224 miles per hour, but technical problems and management failures led to the program's termination before it ever entered active service. The Cheyenne II, by contrast, arrives with a full contract, active production infrastructure, and an Army leadership team publicly committed to fielding it. Whether the name proves prophetic or the program ultimately delivers on the scale promised, April 15, 2026 marks the moment the Army's next aviation era got its identity.